Now let's talk to the man himself. Donald Trump joins us by phone. A lot to talk about this week, Mr. Trump. But I want to begin with that news about Joe Biden, some talk that he may be seriously considering the race right now, meeting with Elizabeth Warren, might be getting in. Would he be a tougher opponent than Hillary?
I don't think so. I think they're the same. I think that Hillary may be very damaged, however, George, because of the email thing. You look at General Petraeus, what's happened to him, how he's been destroyed, and what he did was a fraction of what she's done. But I don't know. Assuming she could get over that, which I just don't know how she possibly can. But assuming she could, I would say it would be pretty equal.
Okay, but let's talk about you right now and your new immigration plan. You've been talking about on the stump, all of your opponents having to react to it. At this point, Jeb Bush, one of the people that reacted to it, saying it's going to cost hundreds of billions. And look at this from the American Action Forum conservative group. They say the federal government would have to spend roughly $400 to $600 billion to address the 11.2 million undocumented immigrants. Each immigrant would have to be apprehended, detained, legally processed, transported to his or her home country. In turn, this would shrink the labor force by 11 million workers, reduce real GDP by $1.6 trillion. Are you willing to pay that price, and where are you going to get the money?
Well, first of all, they're wrong. And, Jeb is a very low-energy person. He'd never be able to do it. He's the one that said they come out of an act of love, okay? This is an act of love. These are people coming, and many of them, you look at what's happening with the crime, many of them are really causing tremendous problems, and they would be out really fast, immediately. First day we start that movement. But we need a wall. We have to get a wall. We need great security, and we're going to have a wall that will be not let people in, George. And by the way, legally, if you're legal, you can come in, and we'll
But let me press you on the cost right there, Mr. Trump. They're saying $400, $600 billion. It would require a big government apparatus to take everybody down. If you don't think those numbers are right, how much is it going to cost, and where are you going to get the money?
Well, it's costing us $130 billion a year, and that's peanuts compared to what the real cost is, George, for the way we have it now. You have so many illegals. We don't even know how many illegals. I hear 11 million. I hear 30 million. The government has no idea. We have lost control of our country. We've lost control of our borders. The government has no idea how many illegals there are. I've been hearing 11 million for 5 years. Then the other day I heard 30. Nobody has any idea.
So if there's no idea, how are you going to round them all up? Where are you going to get the money? Where are you going to get the forces? Exactly how are you going to do it? What are the specifics here?
It's called management. The first thing we have to do is secure the border, but it's called management. And we'll get people back in, the really good ones. We're going to expedite it so they get back in, so they can at least come in legally. But
you
we
keep
have to
declaring how you're going to do it, but you don't say how.
Excuse me, George?
You declare how you're going to do it, but you don't say how.
George, I'm telling you, it's called management. You can do this, and we can expedite the good ones to come back in. And everybody wants that, but they have to come in legally. We have a country. We're a country of laws. We're a country of borders. How can you have a country without a border? How can you have a country without laws? We have to do it. And by the way, what you said in your piece initially is the gang members. You look at the gang members in Baltimore, Chicago, in Ferguson. These people, a lot of them are illegals. These are rough dudes, and we're going to get them the hell out.
I understand that you think it's a huge problem, but I still don't hear specifics on how you're going to do this. Are you for example?
You'll see my specifics, George, but my specifics are very simple. I'm going to get great people that know what they're doing, not a bunch of political hacks that have no idea what they're doing, pointed by President Obama that doesn't have a clue. I mean, the man doesn't have a clue. People are walking across the border right now, right in front of these great people that we have. We have wonderful Border Patrol people. They can do their job, but they're not allowed to do the job. People are walking right into our country, nobody even knows where they come from. They walk right past guards that are told not to do anything.
Do you expect neighbors to start turning in neighbors?
I don't know what's going to happen. I can tell you this. We have to have a country. We're a country of laws, and we have to do it that way, George. There's nothing we can do about it if we're going to stand as a country. There's no choice. We have no choice. We have to do it properly. Now, the candidates that are running against me, like Jeb Bush, he has no clue. He's never going to be able to do anything. You just look at what's happened with him over the years and what's happened with the last thing we need is another Bush. But Scott Walker's changed his mind now because he keeps going back to his pollster And his pollster says, oh, Trump has a good idea. Oh, Trump has a bad idea. Oh, no, wait a minute, Trump has a good idea. These people don't know what they're doing, George. They're politicians. They don't know management. I get the best people, and we will do it properly, and we will do it humanely, and get the good ones back in.
I still haven't heard the specifics. I know you're going to do that, but I'm going to move on.
George. Don't worry
move on right now. Scott Walker's
called good management, and it's called great people.
You know, you talk about Jeb Bush just a minute ago. You said he's a low-energy guy. I want to talk about an article turned out in New York Magazine. Gabriel Sherman talked to a friend of yours who says he is an informal advisor, says you called him and warned that friend, if I'm going down, then Bush is going down with me. He's not going to be president of the United States. Did you say that, and is that what you're going to do?
No, that's totally false. I don't know where this comes from. I'm just hearing it for the first time. I don't mind Jeb Bush. I think he's a nice person. I just don't think he has the energy. You need energy for this job. You can't be soft. And we're a country that's in trouble. We owe $18 trillion. It's going to be up to $20 trillion in a very short period of time, which is a very, very bad number when you hit over 20. And we need a person with a lot of smarts, a lot of cunning, and a lot of energy. And Jeb doesn't have that. I think he's a very nice person. If he became president, good luck. It's another Bush. It's going to be the same old story.
Let me ask you.
I have nothing against Jeb Bush. I think he's a very nice person.
Let me ask you a more philosophical question. Which failure in your career taught you the most? What did you learn from it?
I've had very few failures, George, and if I do have a failure, I try and make it a success. For instance, if a market collapses in the midst of a big construction job, which I've had happen a number of times, in some cases I've made those jobs more successful. I go back to the banks, I fight with them, I negotiate, I do all sorts of things. And I've had deals that should have been disasters and would have been for most people, and they've become great successes, actually more successful than if the market had stayed good. But I would say this more than anything else, you have to learn from tough times, and I've learned a lot.
You talked about Scott Walker just a minute ago, and he drew a lot of headlines this week talking about his efforts to try and maybe out-Trump you. One from the New York Times, momentum stepping away in Iowa. Walker adopts a Trump-like stance. Washington Post, fading in the polls, Walker aims to attract Trump supporters. Reuters, in a bid to jumpstart his campaign, Walker tries to channel Trump. National Journal, how Scott Walker plans to win back Donald Trump supporters. You worried?
Well, I'm not worried because the state is really in trouble. I mean, it's a fantastic place. I love the people of Wisconsin, but if you look at what's going, they have a $2.2 billion deficit. They were supposed to have a surplus of $1 billion, and they have $2.2 billion. There's tremendous division throughout the state. The roads aren't being built properly. He stopped a lot of work because he doesn't want to raise taxes. So instead of raising taxes, he's borrowing to the hilt, and the state is very over-levered. And it's number 38 out of the states. It's ranked number 38. That's not good. So, I'm honored that he wants to copy me, and he's a nice man. He was up. I gave him campaign contributions when he was running for governor. I like him very much. But his state has not performed well. We need somebody that's going to make it perform well, this country perform well. And I'm the one to do it. I will do a great job, and people are seeing that, and it's being reflected in the polls. I mean, Reuters just came out with a brand new poll yesterday, 32% for Trump. I mean, people want to see real change, not Obama change. He used the word change. His change was a bad change. They want to see proper change. They want to see great change. They want to see our country be great again, George.
Donald Trump, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you very much.